Well, foreigners have described the appalling treatment and conditions they endured in detention after being arrested during last week's raids in the Joburg CBD. Police confiscated fake goods and illegal weapons. Also, several police officers appeared in court charged with corruption, theft and defeating the ends of justice. Slendelo Masikane is following the story for us. She joins us now live in studio. So there are two sets of people actually appearing today. Take us through that.
Right, so a very busy day in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court today with hundreds of dockets that they had to deal with this morning. So we've got two groups. Essentially, we have foreign nationals which were arrested during last week's raids, as we saw, of course. Many of them undocumented, but we understand, of course, that over the weekend we had at least 100 of those foreign nationals who were verified by the Home Affairs Department to be legally in the country released over the weekend. But today we saw a number of them appearing in various courtrooms because of the amount of dockets. We're looking at around 500 dockets essentially, and they were basically grouped into their nationalities from Nigerians to Zimbabweans to Kenyans to Malawians, Tanzanians, Kenyans, appearing in the various magistrates' court. And basically the decision from the various magistrates was that if they found that, of course, they were not in the country legally, a lot of them actually choosing to represent themselves in court and admitting to not being in the country legally or not having any documentation. They were therefore ordered to be placed at Lindela Repatriation Center to be deported within 30 days. Yeah. We have another group, police officers. If you remember last week, we had a statement saying that 7 police officers were arrested for corruption and defeating the ends of justice. And this was because some of them had either tipped off traders ahead of the raid or had tried to resell the counterfeit goods back to the traders, or essentially kept the goods for themselves, which is why we have the charges of corruption, defeating the ends of justice, as well as theft.
Yeah, stupid, and isn't it? It's a stupid
just
thing to do.
Crazy.
Let's talk about these people who were obviously kept in these detention centres, saying that they were mistreated. You spoke to some of them today.
Yes. In fact, a few of them came to court today to support some of their friends as well, and they really described some inhumane, I think, conditions of which they were kept under. And in particular, with this group of women that I spoke to, they had valid passports. They were actually in the country on that particular day to stock merchandise and then go back to Mozambique to sell these goods, and they just basically were caught up in this raid. But let's just have a listen to what they had to say.
Masifika la John Foster bazange bakhuluma ningi sibazivalela masivalela angeke ubuze elizweni labantu ukuthi kwenzakalani why bangathi ngababonisa ama passport kuselizweni labantu akuselethe thina sibuye eMaputo masiteda lapho asahlala singakanani sibaningi akuna visit awugezi awenzi nisibaningi silele simili since singena la silele sime khona siphuma izolo Sunday ngabo 6
sanenza ngelute into wrong vela nive banibophile lapha eSmall and Bree and nizalana mina ngizile kusastock nje kuphela niwese Mozambique nizalana zostock mara banibophile aniyazi ukuthi kwenzakalani abazange abasitelile ukuthi iJoburg bayabopha orayini siya ijele siphume ejele manje John Foster silali singadlanga silali nje ephansi abasinikanga ninto yokufuyo engubo nje yokufinyela ora izinto nje kumhlungu lezinto la siphuma izolo sibe singadli ngale silala phansi thina abanye siyagula sine asthma mara silale phansi asidli next mara siphatha ama passport sifuna ukwazi ukuthi kwenzakalani because sina ama passport and asenamalanga waphelelwanga ngamalanga.
So it wasn't just these foreigners who were complaining about the way they were treated. They also had supporters there saying that they shouldn't be treated this way.
Exactly. Yeah, we did have a number of organizations in support of foreign nationals here in the country, saying that the Constitution allows for them, obviously, to be in the country with certain rights, and that many of them had their rights violated. In particular, we spoke to the chairman of the African diaspora. Let's just have a listen to what he had to say.
One of the issues as the African diaspora is that we are very, very concerned because those arrests were targeted at migrants irrespective of whether they've got documentation or not. And that is not, that is arbitrary application of the law. And the Constitution of South Africa does not, provide for that. I mean, it actually scorns, at such behavior. And we've also heard the minister saying, all what they want is to see these people put in a bus and taken to wherever they're coming from. And that coming from a minister of police, a government department, is more worrying than anything else. What we want to see right now is that first we want to see all the people that are properly documented, that they are released, and to make sure that we understand that even those that were released, they were asked to sign documents, and which documents were saying that they had attacked, police cars, they had thrown stones at them, and that they had also not been, they had been asked of their documents, and they had said they do not have, the documentation, which is very untrue. So we need to make a follow-up and see those documents and understand why they were meant to sign those false statements. But as it stands right now, the primary objective is to see that the people that were arrested are treated like human beings with human dignity and respectfully and in terms of the law.
Interesting. Of course, you'll continue following that story for us. Appreciate it. Slindelo Masekane.